Morning everyone. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to lay out our color chart. Okay, so there are several steps to get it to all fit on the paper. So one of the first steps is to draw the small circles for our color swatches that we're going to use on top. So what I've done is I've measured down from the serrated edge 2 inches from the top. So I measured down and you're going to put a little mark in 3 different places. Then you're going to take a ruler and connect those marks. Make the line light so that you can remove it later. We're just using this as a guideline. Okay, so since we want to make little swatches of our colors, we have to put them in a container. So I usually use a circle. So if you don't have a compass at home, the easiest way to make a circle is to find sort of a little object that you can use as your guide. I use the top of a vitamin pill. So I'm going to make 6 circles because we have 6 colors. And the reason for putting swatches of the pure pigments down is so that you know what they look like out of the tube. So we're going to do 6 of them. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can eyeball them. So you're going to just use this circle to make as a template for them. So there's 1. 2. And then so on. You would end up having 6. The last one would end up over here. Okay, so the top will be the place holders for the tube colors. So we know what those pigments look like out of the tube. Okay, so on our chart we have 3 different areas. We have a color wheel, which are the colors of the spectrum. Then on the bottom, we're going to have value scales. That would be each color of the spectrum that runs through white to black. And then over here, we're going to have what they call complementary color mixtures. So I need a circle guide to create the colors of the spectrum, or to create the placeholder for the colors of the spectrum. So I'm going to use a paper plate. You can use anything that you have that's circular that will do the job. So I'm just going to take this here and draw a very light circle because this isn't important. We're going to erase it later. Okay. So there's my circle. So in order to get the 12 circles on the wheel on there so they look relatively even, the best thing to do is to divide the circle in half with very light lines, of course. Light line here. Divide it in the other direction, in the middle, like that. And then you're going to divide it 2 more times because we need 12 circles. So right here, I'm going to say, here's one right here, here's one right here. So I'm going to take it over here and draw it through the center. And it's not lining up perfect. Oh, there we go. All right. One here, whoops, one here, and then one over here. And we also have to do it the other way. So we're going to have one here and one here. Go back through your center again. That'll help you keep it even. And then over here. Okay, so these are going to be the place markers for your circle of the color wheel. So now we're going to take this, our little circle piece, and we're going to make 12 circles, which will represent one color of the spectrum. there's 12 colors. So I'm going to put it on the inside edge of the circle, touch that edge. The line should be going through it that you made. Try to be as neat as possible. That wasn't so neat, but that's okay. You'll do better, I know. You just got to keep working your way around the circle. So I'm not going to make all 12 circles, but you know, you can see that what I'm doing, I'm going all the way around the circle. You should have 12 spots, and let's count them and make sure we're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. Okay, so on the bottom, we're going to make a rectangle that's going to hold the value scales. Okay, so we have 12 colors and a black and white value scale. So that's going to give us 13 rows. So in order for it to fit on the paper, we need to have a rectangle that's a 9.75 inches by 10 inches. So we're going to come up from the bottom 1 inch, and I'm going to come over 2 inches on the side, just so it sits on the page nice. 2 inches here. Then come up here and come in over 2 inches. And then I'm gonna measure up from this point, 9 3/4 inches. Make sure you've got it on 3/4, which is right here. It's a 1/4 inch away from 10. You draw the line up. Okay. And then it's going to be 10 inches wide. So I made these little marks on the bottom, so I'm going to line those up with my ruler and go over 10 inches here. Okay, then we need to go over 10 inches on the top. You do need to make sure it's even. So I added an inch here. It's 9 3/4 inches tall, so I'm gonna just make sure I got this in the right place. Put a mark here, and then go over 10 inches. And down 10 inches. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky. In order to fit 13 rows on here, we can't make it a full inch tall. We have to make each one of the rows 3/4 inch tall. So there's an easy way to do this if you're not good with a ruler. Some people are very good with a ruler, and other people are not as good with a ruler. Most of it has to do with experience. So I usually I tell students that if you're not really good with the ruler, find 3/4 inch on the ruler and extend that line with a pencil mark. That's your 3/4 inch. We're just going to use that and just keep moving it to make our measurements so that we don't make a mistake with the math as we go down the ruler. So we're going to have to make tick marks on both sides, and there should end up being 12 of them. So I'm going to do one here. Then, like I said, I'm going to move my ruler, find it again, and do it. Move the ruler, find it again. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, if it's a 32nd of an inch off, that's fine, but you don't want it to be way off because then you'll end up with the wrong number of rows. I'm just going to keep doing this all the way down the page. Takes a while. our rows. We should have 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Voila, perfect. And they all look even. So that trick with the 3/4 inch mark really works well. Okay, you need to do it on both sides of the paper. So you need to repeat the process on this right side. We're also going to do it across the top and bottom, but this time we're going to make 1 inch intervals. So you know what 1 inch is. That's not hard. So you can actually use the ruler in this instance and not have to keep moving it. So it should be 10 inches wide. We're just going to make a tick mark at 1 inch. It's not tricky because you're not dealing with 3/4 of an inch, which is a little tricky. Do that all the way across the top. The 10, you're going to do it again across the bottom. And then what you're going to do, I'll do it across the bottom and just show you what you're going to do with it. Put those marks on. Then you're going to connect all the tick marks. So you would connect them across this way once you get them in, and you'd also connect them vertically. I can show you the vertical. I'll demonstrate the vertical. So we're going to line them up real good, and then just put a line like that. And we're going to do it all the way across. And what you're going to end up is with a grid. And within that grid, that's where we're going to put the value scales. So once you have this completed, you're going to go up and you're going to put in the rectangular box for the complementary color mixtures. Okay, that needs to be 4.5 inches tall by 7 inches wide. So we want to move it off of this edge a little bit. I'm just going to move it down, say 2 inches. And I am going to bring it in 1 inch off the edge. That's where I'm going to start. Bring it in 1 inch. Okay, so we need it to be 7 inches wide by 4 inches tall. So line up my tick marks. This is where I want to start. 7 inches wide. Line those up. Like that. And then we're going to go, this is the 2 marks off the edge that have been measured, and we're going to go down 4.5 inches here. Okay, and then I'm going to measure down 4.5 inches from here. And close it off. So this will be, make sure we have it 7 inches. So I'm going to measure it from that point to this point. And then close it off here. Just like that. Okay, so the vertical height of each one of the rows is going to be 6 rows. Vertical height is 3/4 of an inch, just like down here. So we'll have to put tick marks on each side. I'm going to use my little marker here to make them. So I'll keep moving my ruler to have a consistent 3/4 of an inch. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is perfect. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then we're going to make the rows that go across. There's going to be 7 across, 1 inch wide. So, and they have to be on top and on the bottom again. So we'll do this. Let's go a little faster because they're 1 inch. Do it again at the bottom. And you're going to connect your tick marks in both directions. that. You just keep going across, and then you do the ones that are horizontal. Without the tick marks though, your lines will be crooked. So make sure you do them on both sides before you connect the lines. And that's pretty much it.